Y'all, this is your host, Lillian Harshaw, and welcome to another episode of Worldly Church Girl. On today's show, I have the great privilege of interviewing this world-class lady. She is a fighter, literally like a boxer. She is the founder of the Indiana Prison Writers Workshop, and she's also a published author. It gives me great privilege to introduce to you Miss Debra Des Vignes. What inspired you to do this program?
Right. Yeah. So, I just have a heart for the work, and I believe in serving and working with people who have challenges, and the population of those who are incarcerated and those who are previously incarcerated. I just felt called to do it. I worked as a TV reporter for about a decade covering crime, and I was always interested in the rest of the story, apart from the angle of law enforcement and me being the reporter telling the story. I was curious and interested in helping the men write and become better writers. And so that's what led me to volunteer inside a prison.
How did you decide which prison to even start at?
So I was working at a homeless veterans nonprofit, and a colleague of mine, her husband worked at one of the facilities and suggested I reach out to Plainfield Correctional, which I did at the end of 2017, and connected with the lady who runs volunteers initiatives there, and started
Plainfield, Indiana.
Yeah, Plainfield Correctional Facility in Plainfield, Indiana, and had such a great experience leading the victim impact class for them that I decided to start this creative writing program, which later morphed into a not-for-profit called Indiana Prison Writers Workshop in 2018. And so everything happened quite quickly, but since stepping foot inside the correctional facility and realizing how appreciative the offenders are, and how we were making such a big difference, myself, and then the program has since grown into three Indiana correctional facilities.
Did you come across any hurdles?
Not too many. No, I don't. No, not really. Everything was pretty smooth. It was embraced by Indiana Department of Correction, the creative writing program, and that was good. And then, I think it was just, for me, my personal challenges was to knowing when to slow down and take some time, because, the landscape and the opportunities were there. And so I wanted to do everything, in a quick manner. And so I think just knowing when to pace myself, and I brought together a team of 4 or 5 people who helped me come up with some really good writing prompts. That's how we spend our time, an hour and a half delving in and writing about tough topics like love and loss and hope and abandonment. And we talk about complex, experiences that began in childhood and that affected many of their decisions as they became men. And so we shaped all of those experiences into stories. We grew from there.
Since you brought that up, I'm glad you did, about stories. I mean, has there been any stories that really shook you and was I can't believe that happened to you, and you're made this kind of progress to even open up about it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Countless stories. They trusted me to share everything, many things that they hadn't shared with their loved ones even. And so, some of the ones that tore at my heartstrings were a sense of being abandoned. And, one guy wrote about standing as a kid, 2 or 3 years old, in his trailer house, and his parents had abandoned him, and he felt like he was just left alone. And so those, really, it made me look at my own childhood, be super appreciative for all that I've had. It garners such empathy and compassion that, my heart just gets bigger every time I walk into a facility and work with the guys and hear their stories. So, they wrote a lot about their crimes. Again, being as a reporter and covering crimes, those things didn't alarm me, scare me. Of course, they impacted me, reading these things. But I think it was more of the childhood barriers and some of the experiences that they faced.
Well, see, I'm a big crybaby, so I don't know if I could sit there and listen to those stories.
Right?
They be like, she's supposed to be helping us, and we gotta hug her out through this. Because I'm just being realistic.
Yeah.
I'm that person. I'm gonna put my business out there. I cried watching Toy Story 3. The end of it, bawled like a baby. My kids looked at me like I lost my mind. I'm sitting there crying because Woody is saying goodbye. Lost it. So I couldn't even look.
Goodbye. I think for me it was the stories were definitely impactful, but I think for me it was realizing that they're still locked up and there's so much talent, and that made me tear up and cry. It's like, okay, you've served 17 years. You're rehabilitated. Now let's get on out and start life over, or use what skills you've got in prison to make a better life. So that's tough. Is I'm walking out at the end of class, and all of these men who have such great talents are still behind bars.
Right. Are you only working with male prisoners, or are you working with women prisoners too?
Yeah, so I'm only working with male right now. The program's in 3 facilities, so we got 3 volunteers who are at each one, and maybe one day we'll work with the women, the females, or juveniles. Right now, we're focusing our efforts on the male. It's crazy because I've watched grown men cry over writing or recalling a recipe, right? A simple recipe that his grandmother made, chicken noodles, soup and dumpling recipe. And he just bawled, and, we all just sat there, and it was a moment. It was a moment. You're like you said, you just want to be able to give a hug and to say it's going to be okay. And so, we let him have that moment, and many of the men do. So writing is powerful. It's transformative, and it's just a special space to be in when you're able to hold the men accountable through their writing and encourage them and motivate them and give them the tools. But mainly it's creative writing and stories. And we introduce them to literary greats like Langston Hughes and Mark Twain and Maya Angelou. And so it's a chance for them to be exposed and to use their critical thinking skills to then digest letters from a Birmingham jail, Martin Luther King Jr. That was one that we shared, and we based a writing prompt off that. And where have we come from that time, right? When Martin Luther King Jr. wrote that piece. And so it allows us to expand our thinking and our imagination, and to learn as well, learn about history and learn about Langston Hughes. And then the program has had several guest writers in the community. We've had poets, we've had rappers, we've had public speakers, we've had authors, we've had community leaders in the communication field. They've all been great, and it's been good to connect those men with other people so they could hear how they were able to succeed in their own realm.
Now, do you have other people helping you, or is it just you standing alone? I know you said you have people coming in as far as like guests, but you have like an actual staff that goes with you.
Nope, I'm a one woman shop.
Wow.
I have a lot of cheerleaders and supporters. Social media is a powerful tool. Yes, it is. A lot of people reach out. How can I help? I got a guy who's lending his expertise in helping build a strategic plan. It is a not-for-profit, so I have some board members who challenge me and hold me accountable and help, raise awareness as well. But and I rely on, again, those 3 volunteers who are superstars in my eyes because they dedicate their time into going into the facilities, and so that's my team. But again, it's all volunteer basis, and I'm super excited to be on your podcast and want to give a shout out to you. Thank you for spreading the word and doing amazing things yourself. But, I just want to thank you for having me on and spreading the word, because that's how this message is shared, and all of their talents are shared.
Right. And hopefully this won't just be a local thing.
Right.
It'd be awesome if this become a global thing. We're going to just say here in this nation, but we're going to say a global thing.
Yeah, I like that. I tell the offenders the sky's the limit. So
that's right.
Think big and do the hard work and see what happens. But right now it's in the state of Indiana, and I'm working with the Indiana Department of Correction to be able to go into the facilities. And so we'll see what happens. It's like I said, about a year in existence. So we've had an art show. They put together a compilation of short stories. They've been on the news on Fox 59, CBS, and Indy Star inside the facility. And so
Yeah, we got to spread that word because this is too good to just be sitting.
Right?
It just is. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. And people can go to the website, inprisonwritersworkshop.org, to read some stories, some of their stories and thoughts, and see the good work that they're all doing.
prisoners are probably the one group of people that people never think of at
Right,
all.
right.
They feel like they did the crime, now they're paying for it. Okay, well, the whole point of prison is to rehabilitate and to help
Right,
them grow. So
right.
don't just put them in there and just wash your hands from them.
That's exactly right. They're you know, a lot of times they feel lost and forgotten, knowing that all of these prisoners are going to be coming out soon, and we want
Right.
them to be the best version of themselves as they can be, because they are going to be our neighbors. And so
Right.
why not give them the tools they need and embrace them when they come out, knowing that they've served their time and now they're ready to be productive members of society. And so it's giving them the chance, and it's changing perceptions, and it's changing the stigma that we have on this population. You know, I'd love to see in a few years a campaign similar to the Hire a Veteran campaign, where we're hiring ex-offenders more, and where we're providing more housing for ex-offenders. I mean,
agree.
Wouldn't that be great? And see how the world turns out after that. You know,
Right.
giving them opportunities and showing them that they're wanted and needed.
Right.
And you know,
And I was just thinking about that. It's funny you brought that up. It's a shame that when somebody comes out of jail, they're treated worse before they even went in the jail.
Right.
How do you expect them to start over if
Right.
you won't allow them to start over?
Right. And so many things are foreign to them, right? So they're having to obviously readjust and figure out the driver's license, and then you know, everything's changed. I'm working with a guy who's been behind bars for 18 years and just was released. And he said it's the simple thing of going to McDonald's, and there's three drive-in windows, right? Drive-through windows.
And that's a headache for anybody. Yeah, I can't stand it.
Getting soda, getting pop at a McDonald's or store, and it's just, what buttons do you press? And so he described it as, he came out and it was like flying cars everywhere.
Oh, I believe it. Because it's retarded. I had the worst experience with McDonald's the other day, so I'm having a real bad flashback. Okay. I can't stand that place. That's my daughter's place, not mine.
I agree. That's my son's place, not mine. Not mine. Yep.
I cannot stand McDonald's. But nope, no diss McDonald's, but I'm just not feeling you. But anyway, so you know what? I noticed you're a boxer?
Yeah, I am. It's how I get my my release out and my own stress. You know, I write and I box. I box every night at an Indianapolis boxing gym, and I love it. I've been doing it now for about three plus years, and it's my therapy and my time.
Yeah. Ow. That's something I wanted to do kickboxing just because it like you said, it's a good stress reliever, and plus it's good as a workout period. But I never wanted to get hit back.
Oh, really? Yeah. So, I take a lot of punches. You know, right now I'm nursing I got a bruised eye. I had a black eye a few weeks ago, so it's definitely.
What went through your mind the first time somebody hit you in the face?
You know, I think it's just the getting back up, is knowing in life, faced with some great obstacles, that you can get back up and prove yourself and be better and do better. And so for me, boxing translates into life. And you know, when I feel that force coming towards me, I try my best and I hit, and it's a jab or it's an uppercut, and I'm in the moment, and I'm thinking about nothing else, none of my responsibilities. So.
Right.
No,
yeah, I'm sure it feels great to hit somebody, but it's the getting hit back part that will make me forget that this is supposed to be professional. And we're about to be on the street.
Yeah. No, I get it. So I'm wearing a headgear and mouthpiece, and it's just going in and giving it your all. And
now, are you trying to take that to a professional level too, or is this just a release?
So because I'm over 40, there's only a few professional outlets where I could actually fight on professional stage. One is called the Masters. So, I think I'm always working towards that. Yeah. To take it to the next level and actually have a good amateur fight. And if that happens, it happens, and I'll be ready. And if it doesn't, then I'll just be in the best darn shape of my life, you know?
Heck yeah, but if it happens, let me know. I would love to be there to watch it.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And well, have you ever thought about even teaching or coaching since you're above that age limit or whatever?
You know, that's not a bad idea. I actually could. I actually could think about doing that maybe. You know, I rely on my boxing coaches because they are the experts, and so I don't think I'm there, you know, in that realm. But I do love it, and it's in me. And you know, like I said earlier, it's not about how hard that I hit. It's how much I can take and keep going and keep moving forward.
So if you wasn't boxing or doing this workshop, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh boy. Wow. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be in such happy I probably wouldn't have such a happy disposition, you know, if I didn't have those two things. You know, I'm a wife and a mother, but boxing definitely defines me. Prison writing program gives me purpose. So, you know, I can't say. I would be a completely different person. I probably would not like that person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because being a wife, that's one hat.
Yeah.
Being a mother is another hat. But we need that own thing for our own identity, or we can't even do those other things.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So what's next for you?
Yeah, what's next? So it's just to keep these programs vital and keep them fresh and the writing prompts fresh for these guys and to support them through their writing and encourage them. And then me really, my role is to highlight their work. So, you know, getting the message out as broadly as I can. I'd love to one day work with a group of ex-offenders through writing. That would be enjoyable as well. And keep fighting in the ring and keep proving myself that I can do it and challenging myself because I think I'm my own mentor. You know, I really never had a mentor growing up. And so I'm taking on that role myself. I've got a few personal heroes that I can count on one hand.
Really, who?
So there's a lady at IUPUI. Her name's Sue Hyatt. She's just a trailblazer. She makes things happen. I love being around her. I love her spirit. And so, you know, we're going to partner on a few things, some events where we'll bring in some ex-offenders who can share their writing. And so she takes things to the next level and she thinks a lot like me. I think a lot like her. So she's definitely a personal hero. My boxing coaches challenged me, so they're in a way, you know, some heroes. But yeah, you know, just someone who defies the odds, the underdog.
Right.
I'm always rooting for them, but yeah, I've never had a mentor like most people have, and so I gotta do it myself, you know. And I encourage everybody to be a mentor themselves, you know, because the world is lacking that. So everybody's wrapped up in their own time and their own thing. So if you can be that person for somebody, you know, there's people out there that could use that. Everybody could use a mentor.
Amen. Well, I got one last question for you.
Sure.
If you could have a theme song for every time you walked in a room, what would it be and why?
So probably, golly, that's a good one. I would say like the Rocky theme, but I like the song "I'm on My Way Up." Remy Ma and Fat Joe, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'm on my way up.
And why?
I like the lyrics and I like the just the words. I'm on my way up. You know, nothing can stop me.
So is that on your playlist when you're working out?
It is.
Okay.
I'm on my way up. Nothing can stop me.
Okay, so again, tell our listeners.
Hear it after. I'm going to listen to it after we get off this now.
I'm not even mad. So you going to the gym after this?
You bet. Tonight I'll be there and I'll be sparring. Yep, tonight's sparring night. So I got to hydrate and I got to stretch my body a little because last night I took a few hits, and even though we weren't sparring, you know, when you're doing mitts, you always, you know, you got to be on your game. So
probably more so than being the actual one that's giving it.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this.
You're welcome. And keep shining the light on the world, please.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you
Too.
All right.
And how can people find out about you again?
Yep. Thank you for asking. So we have a website, inprisonwritersworkshop.org. And then we're also on Facebook, so IndianaPrisonWritersWorkshop.org.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
good luck to you. And I know you're on your way up.
All right. Talk later.
I want to send a special shout out to my guest, Debra Des Vignes, for coming on. Thank you so much for your time and your effort. And most of all, thank you for what you're doing for this community. I know you're going to do greater things than beyond your reach. Thanks again, and make sure you subscribe to the one and only Worldly Church Girl.